Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am Josh Garcia, and this is the Revival Motoring Podcast. As always, I'm joined by Chuck Hu and Corey.si.
Hello.
In studio today is our great friend, Mr. Brett Sloan.
Hello.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for the invite.
Making the trek on out here as usual. I figured a couple weeks back, let's get Brett in. Be a good time to talk about, the world of Porsche, his next SEMA build, SEMA's going on right now, and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to check in with him. As always, you can go to our website, revivalmotoring.com, where you can sign up for the B4B, snag some new merch, all that good stuff, callbacks, all that, et cetera, will be in the next episode, so stay tuned. So let's get right into chatting with Brett. So the reason I thought of that was, again, as I live in a dream world sometimes, I'm like, ooh, let me just look at the, current status for a 70s Porsche.
It was a 930 specifically.
The 930, just a bunch of different stuff.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, what do these go for? Are these even attainable for the average person these days?
Chuck is shaking his head no, but I think they are.
So you still think that?
Yeah, but because when you first contacted me, it was about the 930, which is the 911 turbo, right? That's the internal code.
Yeah. Yep.
So if you just got a standard 911, say
Yep.
like a 75, 76, which would have been a 2.7 CIS motor. I'm sorry, it's not as high horsepower as the other car.
Right, of course.
But a lot of guys they're throwing carburetors on it. And they throw 3 liters out of the SC motors in there or something like that. They're still fully galvanized at that point too. So they're not really worried about rust. You could find one that needs love for high 20s, low 40s if it's a running driving car.
What are you nuts? Is that Rolex white gold? Jesus.
That's a lot less than I expected.
Well,
yeah, that's way less than I expected as well.
You're talking about a project. You're not talking about a running and driving car.
Exactly.
And running and driving? Or
running and driving, let's say it's a really nice one. A nice 75 911S, which is all what they came in. So you had 2 in the United States. You just got the S, okay? You didn't get the turbo. There was... 75, you could get the turbo. We had this turbo until 79, and then there was an embargo. There was some DOT laws and whatnot where we didn't get them again until 1986. But the 70, just standard 911.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a nice one, you can drive it. Tops out like 65.
Is that... Now, the 20 and the 40, is that like being your wingman and catching your scraps? How do you find that deal? Because I've been trying to be that for years.
Waiting under the table.
You got to have the bat line.
You got to have shit.
You got to have the bat
I always waste my calls on the bat line.
You got the Batman. So,
I always waste my calls on the bat line, dude.
So, yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, they're out there. They're not highly desirable. A lot of the guys, especially the guys out in California, are buying those chassis because the 75, it might have been 74, 75. I don't know what the cutoff year in California where they don't start they stop breaking their stones about emissions.
Yeah.
I want to say it's 75.
So
they're buying them and then kind of hot rodding them.
Doing their thing.
Doing their thing to them, and then they can get away without dealing emissions and all that stuff.
Yep.
But, I mean, they also made a 912, which is the 4-cylinder version in that era as well. Same thing. All you got to do is take that motor out. Those are really cheap.
Yeah.
Okay. So like a nice one of those is probably like 30, 35. Mm-hmm. It's a 912. It's a 4, it's a Type 4 motor, Volkswagen motor. It's not anything exciting, but you can, it's not hard to convert those cars to 911s.
What's a power plant cost though?
So that's what I wanted to ask that same.
Right,
yeah, exactly. Kind of that leads us to.
I mean, a motor.
You want a Ferrari V12? It's going to be $5,000. Yeah. You want a Porsche engine? It's going to be $30,000.
You'll be lucky to find an SE motor with under $25,000.
Oh God!
Wow.
Fuck that.
I mean, if we're talking hot rod, why even put a Porsche engine back in?
Yeah.
So that's why all the swaps exist.
Yeah, exactly.
And is it just because of there's not that many of them left?
No, it's Porsche tax.
How hot of an engine are we talking for $25,000?
So if that's bone stock and with 150,000 miles. But if you want, to make, I'll give you. You want to make something spicy? Like I just did it. Like literally this month, it was a 3-liter SC with 964 cams, upgraded chain tensioners, custom exhaust, high compression. So we did JE pistons. What else we do? A couple other things, and that cost my cost $38,000.
What do they make for horsepower?
I don't know. I would say
spend $38,000 on that dyno car.
I know. I would say a healthy 235.
What else?
That's almost as much as my 4-cylinder in my
Yeah,
M3 that I built myself.
but like, I mean, it's all power too. I mean, it gets. I mean, I've put on maybe 500 miles on it, so I haven't even got over $4,000. And with those 964 cams, it's like that's all. I mean, the thing,
35.
Yeah, I'm trying
to think, what other options?
GTR is a deal.
What other options
for Porsche?
No. I'm thinking like other power plants you can put in there.
I mean, they're throwing Honda.
I mean, for 35 grand, you make a 900 horsepower RB.
I think it's just a case series.
Isn't Jimmy Oates putting in a Maserati motor?
He did put a Maserati motor.
So that car belonged to my mechanics next door.
Is that theirs?
So they originally had a Chevy motor in it.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
So now he's putting the Maserati in there.
Yep.
That seems like a downgrade.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, but not
From
many
like
people
a
are gonna.
Chevy LS to a Maserati motor.
Who's gonna click on like an old Chevy motor?
No, I get why he does it. I get why he's doing it.
Yeah. All right.
So there's still deals out there. I mean, it's not like. I mean,
How much horsepower does the 4-cylinder engine make?
The 912?
Yeah.
You can walk faster than it.
I'm trying. It's got to be. It's got to be similar to
Full
like.
tilt is like 95 horse.
Yeah.
That's it. It's the earlier ones, like I have a 68 912.
Yeah.
And it's leftover 356 SC motors with a bigger crank, and they're 95
What does a
horse.
912 weigh though?
Oh, it's nothing. Well, mine's a soft window Target, so there's like no. I mean, it's just a roll bar. That's all it is.
I might be able to race these things in my Beat.
It's fun. I mean, you can throw it around. The biggest thing is like merging onto a highway. You just don't have the pull.
It's just not
2,100 pounds.
Yeah, I can race them.
Yep.
2,100
I'm
pounds.
start running those things for pinks. Need my micro car.
And you do good suspension. So like handling wise, they're great. And I've done all Elephant Racing suspension on my 912. Big shouts out to Rob from Dent Wizard for saving that car. Saving
Dent
that
Patrol.
car. Oh, Dent. Sorry. Yes, I combined.
Wow,
the two.
Dent Wizard. That's disrespectful.
Well, he
My
is
bad,
a
my
wizard.
bad.
That's why
That's where I was going with that.
true.
That's where I was
Dent
going.
Patrol. Yeah, he saved every car I own at this point.
Yeah, saved that car. So, but that thing, it's fun back roads, but to get on the highway is just it's like
sucks.
kind of pushing
Severely
like
lacking.
a skateboard.
What do they top out?
Like speed wise on the high? I mean, you can definitely cruise at 70, 75 miles per hour, and then it has still some left in the tank. I mean, it's not slow once you get going.
Yeah, it's a momentum car.
Yeah,
There we go.
pretty much.
Is it 4
They
speed?
all are.
Dude, I bet a 118
Both.
would be.
You can get it with a
sick in
5
one of
and a
them.
4.
Okay.
Yeah.
A
So
180 in one?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty.
I'm trying to think what else has been done. I mean, obviously,
118 is a really tall
I
engine.
mean, they do
though.
the LS swaps and stuff like that.
In a 912? Put a street bike
I mean,
engine
a
in that to make
912
more
is just
power.
a 911, though.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
it's
true.
not
With that 4,
like,
right?
yeah. I mean, it's not much different. There's an extra bracing because now it's the motor's further into the car.
Right, so there's a bigger brace in it.
Yeah, but that all comes. It's stamped in. It's not a big deal to cut that out. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not structural to the point where it's gonna,
Let
car's
me
gonna
add 'em.
suffer for it. Yeah. So
What level do they become? Where's the value, right? Because like
Where's
there's
that
got to
buy
be a
it?
point
Right,
where
right.
like obviously 993s are crazy.
Yeah.
And 996s are now getting more expensive.
Yep.
So is there like a 991 point, the first iteration, or 997 first iteration that's now cheaper than some 996s?
I think the 997s are going to start going crazy as well. Same thing with it. So the 997.1.2s. There's this big conversation right now with like the bore scoring in those cars.
Yeah, I remember talking about it.
Yeah. So I don't sell enough of them to really know what is going on.
Yeah.
It does remind me of an issue we had with the 993s about like 10, 15 years ago with the SAI issue,
Yeah.
which is a secondary intake issue, where it would clog up with carbon. Basically, if you didn't drive the balls off of it, it would clog up. I've sold hundreds of those cars between my father and I. We sold hundreds of them. We only had that problem 6 times. And all it is emission stuff. But everybody freaked out about it. Everybody made a big deal about it.
back, right? If that happens to someone that bought one from you.
Your car now.
Good luck with it.
But
That car's
I
sick.
don't know if the bore scoring situation is going to be the same thing where people are going ape shit without. I don't know.
Where the minorities are the loudest in this thing.
And then I'm also hearing that like the S models are the ones that have bigger issues. The standard Carreras don't, for whatever reason. Maybe direct injection, something along that. And then also people swapping out thermostats, so that I guess cylinder 6 isn't getting hot enough at certain points.
So you put a higher temp thermostat in?
Apparently, yeah, they're switching out thermostats to kind of. I think everybody's just kind of. It's all in real time.
What
right
do
now,
they think is scoring the boring? Is it they're getting washed down?
I just don't think it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't
weird.
know. They did a whole in-depth thing on Porsche Club of America. It's like a 3-parter, It's pretty, it's pretty in depth of what's going on. But that could have been whatever they were investigating. Could have been just for those handful of cars that they had in front of them. I don't know. You don't have that problem on the turbos. You do not have that problem on the GT3s in that class. It's just naturally aspirated cars.
So it makes sense to buy the GT3. Hear that, baby?
So here first, you're going to sell everything to get a GT3, right? Is that the reason you brought me up here?
Thinking about it. I was going to trade you an entire collection for a GT3. I heard you taking trades.
I'm into BMW now. Big BMW guy now.
Yeah.
Big BMW guy.
I was going to say you post one. That's it.
Might as well stock up on inventory,
That
dude.
thing is, I know we're going all over the place, but that thing is like, it's an E46 M3 station wagon, which they obviously never made.
Yeah.
And this guy took 3 cars to build one and spent a fortune to do so. And it's incredible.
How
So
long
why
did it
3?
take to...
A
2 I get.
So he bought an SMG car. I think he bought an SMG motor for the SMG motor was with a car that had like 60,000 miles on it. And then he didn't strip out all the wiring, I think, for that car, where he needed to get another one because there was just parts he physically can't get. So he had to buy a second one. So the mistakes were made because he sold it before he, got everything out of it.
Yeah.
It was like a 5-year project. Mm-hmm. So anyway, but yeah, it's an incredible car. But yeah, so let me know. I could probably pull them all.
No, I'll do the GT3. I'm in on the GT3.
What do you want? Like, what's your dream build, Josh? Like, what is?
Josh wants a brand new.
We know you want the GT3.
The brand new
GT3 RS, 100%.
Hey,
but
I spoke to a guy that was in charge of buying a GT3 RS for like a business thing.
Yep.
Actually, a big business thing that I don't think I can actually mention.
Is that Central Paper?
I wish. $550K is what they had to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So matter of fact, there was
Crazy.
I just did a
Markups,
little exercise. I don't know, a few weeks ago, a month ago. After we talked about it, I'm like, "Ooh, I'm gonna just build one on Porsche." All right, whatever. Spec went out. It's like $300,000. Then the next day, I seen one posted on Facebook for $462.
Dude,
That's going to come crashing down.
shit.
That is
He
not
was-
sustainable.
He was buying it as a test car, corporate level for a big manufacturer, and he still had to go through
Wow. Yeah.
like the biggest manufacturer in this town.
Yep.
And he still had to go through dealer, like a couple $100,000 in dealer markup. I mean, it's just insane.
It doesn't matter.
Well, there's a lot of changes right now. Like you guys all know about the Porsche VIP program, how that all worked out. It kind of backfired on them.
I remember it existing. I don't
tell
know.
me.
All right. So in the beginning, so they couldn't sell the 918s. Okay. So when the 918s came out, they had a really, really tough time. They were flying people out to Austin F1 racetrack to like court them for the weekend, get them in, in the seat of, drive around the track to really get, and they, I don't know how many were sold to Americans, but it wasn't a substantial number. So to entice them, they said, okay, if you buy this car for 10 years, you can buy whatever you want, skipping the line. So and obviously these guys were buying whatever came out, making hundreds of $1,000s on each one of these allocations, flipping them. And there's literally nothing Porsche could say about it. Yeah. They gave it's in writing.
It's an actual contract.
So that ended,
right.
Yeah, it's an actual contract. And I believe that ended this year or around, this last year or two. I can't remember what year, but it's recently changed. It's done now. So I think that's another thing is that all these dealers are like, okay, here we go.
Let's get our money now. Yeah.
But they've made like 5,000 of these GT3 RSs. They're not a limited production car.
Right.
The ST stuff, the Sports Classic, those are all like individually numbered. But the stuff that you're seeing for, like I said, $300, $100,000 over sticker, they're production cars.
Yep.
And I think that's going to come crashing down. Like, if there's that many cars, how can every single one of them be hundreds of thousands?
And I know they're great. I've driven them. They're cool as hell.
Maybe too great, though.
But like,
what are you going to do with it? It is an absolute weapon, and regular GT3 is fucking. It's phenomenal. Like,
and the GT3 there's Thompson. I think what holds the track record dead stock. It's fucking insane. But like, it's $200,000 over sticker.
Yeah.
For $200,000, you can buy a car that is almost as great, probably as great on road. It's nuts, dude. I know they're sick. Every time I see one, I'm like, holy shit. But like, I'm gonna pay I'm going to pay a McLaren over sticker for a Porsche.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But if you think about it, Porsche right now they're building cars for the enthusiasts.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like
the only guys doing it.
Yeah. So it's like these guys can't get enough of it because there's not a lot of nannies. I mean, there are enough nannies to kind of, which makes my business great because I still have the guys that want the analog stuff. They don't want all that crap. But at the same time, you got a lot of guys that are not, they're terrible drivers, and those cars make you feel like better drivers. They really do.
They really do.
You know? So, I mean, the all-wheel steering, like all that stuff, like you get a guy like that has like the nastiest whatever, new GT3, Tourings, whatever. They get behind the wheel of a 993, like they can't figure out how the steering wheel doesn't move. They're like, they freak out because like everything is locked in.
I can't imagine how scary it is to go from a modern GT3 to like, especially to track a 993. You're gonna crash immediately.
100%.
GT3 is normal GT3s taking a huge markup as well. If you I just want to
nothing sticker. Even a standard C4S, like just a standard, is still at least $20,000 to $30,000 over.
Where's the sweet spot for GT3? Where's your sweet used GT3 right now? Are they all nuts?
Oh, they're all nuts.
996s are now crazy too.
They're all nuts.
That's crazy.
They're all nuts. I mean, now we're getting into the 25-year-old for. We never got the first generation 996, the .1s. Those are coming.
Cool wing.
Yeah, the taco wing.
Yeah.
So those are coming in right now. And I actually had a chance to drive those cars when they were new, and they are fantastic. I think they're close to, 365 horse, give or take. Maybe
so you can Japan them, but they're going to be crazy money coming out of Japan now.
They know. They know.
Germany,
Everybody overseas knows that we're going to be wanting those cars. So they're putting the tax on it now. And a lot of those cars were used and abused. They didn't make that many of them. If you look at the build numbers of those cars, even the 996.2s, you know, the ones that we got, the first year we got was 2004. They didn't make a ton of them. They didn't make 5,000 cars, you know? I don't know the number off the top of my head, but it's definitely under 1,500.
But you're 6 figures every single GT3 now.
Yeah. Unless it's got some hair on it. Unless there's some track accident.
You're looking at them.
Yep.
I like this new saying.
You never heard that before?
I've never heard of this. I'm gonna use it.
I don't know if I've been involved in the hair-on scenario, but I like this.
Yeah.
I'm going to use it
I'm a big hair-off guy, but
I'm a big hands-on guy, eyes-on guy, but
it seems like my only way into this market is some hair on.
Yeah.
A lot of hair. I need a fucking Sasquatch
we might need
level.
the Brazilian wax this thing, but she's going to be sweet.
But all these cars you can rebuild them. I mean, they're over-engineered, so if it had
it's just metal. It'll be okay.
The GT4s seem to be the biggest disposable car when it comes to like accident damage on the track. They seem to really, when they get hit hard, they're pretty much ruined at that point.
GT4, you said?
GT4s, yeah, which is also, that might be your best, you know, if you can't get into a GT3, the GT4s are, no?
Don't want to be a quitter. You know what I mean?
Okay, all right.
I think I'm going to end up owning a whole lot of other cars before I ever get a GT3.
Yeah. I do think the GT4 is pretty rad.
I think they're rad, yeah.
Every time I get
911.
The biggest sleeper is what you guys talked about the other day, the Spider.
Das Cayman?
Yeah.
Boy, Das Cayman.
He looks like he's enjoying it. I watched all those videos afterwards. He looked like he's having a damn good time.
That guy owes us some monetization. We got him some views. The amount of people who reached out and was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I drive my cars in the streets now, and I'm like, I'm fine.
After that, I was out in the Civic, and I'm like bombing around, and I'm like, here I am. Doing the same thing. I was this bitch. I looked down and I was doing 42 miles an hour.
Yeah, dude. You were not doing the same thing.
But
minus 100.
But in a 33-year-old car,
yep,
I felt like I was.
Right. The joy of slow.
Because it's just like the feeling of it.
I'd rather do that.
Yeah, I was doing 42 miles.
Slow car fast is the best car.
I love driving my Mark 1 and Mark 2 like that.
Maybe 42. I don't know. I don't know how accurate it is.
You're going so fast you couldn't see the speedo. Just not
buzzing
couldn't
away.
put eyes on it.
Buzzing away.
Yeah. But
many
there,
insights.
There are deals out there. I mean, the thing is, like, obviously, I mean, come on. I mean, everybody knows what everything they have now is, you know, what it's worth. So
yeah.
To get a smoking deal, it's not there, you know, as it was 10 years ago.
Only for Scott. Only Scott gets smoking deals.
Just finds them anywhere.
He's a grinder.
You got to be liquid. You got to be liquid at all times.
Dude, that guy's liquid constantly.
Yeah, you got to be liquid at all times.
Can tell.
Yeah, the last couple of months were pretty soft, to be honest with you. Everybody getting nervous with the election and stuff like that. I saw a lot of auctions, a lot of lots when you go.
A lot of guys bailing.
A lot of
Love that.
Yep. A lot of.
Are they? You think we're going to continue the bail or what?
Turn hard asset into.
Or I think everybody's back.
I
think the train whistle blew.
Yeah.
I mean, no brakes, baby. Still going. Yeah. Who knows what the fuck's going to happen now?
And does it?
I'd say the economy goes off a cliff in about 3 months, and then Daddy's buying Porsches.
Yeah, and I guess that does affect like the stragglers, right? The ones on the fringe guys who, I'm going to do this and really get an ROI, but then like, I just lost my company and now I got to sell it. Whatever.
Correct. And speaking of ROIs, which I had a huge event with a major insurance company at my shop talking about values and all this stuff a couple weeks ago. And one of the guys stood up and said that they're also seeing a lot of guys sell they're making year policies and selling the cars between 3 to 6 months into their ownership to get it, because as soon as they see something slip just a hair,
they're out.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
it's still a lot of investors on these things.
100%, which is interesting because I know I have a lot of guys that will pass on cars if they're not one owners. I mean, I just sold a car to a guy.
Call me.
I'll be owner number 7.
Yeah,
Dude, at this point, 35.
We're at double
man.
digits on it.
And it's going to be worth even more now because these guys, it's very common now to see 4 or 5 owners on a car because of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as they see a dip.
Are they ever even registering them?
Montana, baby.
I'm saying because if they're
Montana.
not, then the owner
we're just selling LLCs.
Yeah, but they know these guys know that the tax rate as well, because Connecticut is a tax rate state, and there's a lot of states that are like that, so they can get away with that. There's guys that have a kitty at dealerships.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say it's $250,000, and they'll get in and out of cars. Money will never leave their account. It's literally just this chip that they have, and they just keep on trading it around.
Does that market
I like that.
not necessarily apply? Because, like, again, if it starts to get that crazy, right, you have that circle of we want one owner, that's it. Hypothetically, is the scraps left for the rest of the people who don't care? Or does it?
I think it's no. I mean, I see where you're going with that. No, because I'm just adding a premium for the one owner car.
Right. Okay. Right. Yeah.
As I did with low miles, as I did with original paint. Now it's just one more layer to add because you can't find them.
Are the Montana boys just trading LLCs?
What do you mean?
Like if you... It's going to get too technical. If you have a car registered to an LLC, you just sell the guy the LLC. The car never trades hands.
The car doesn't. No. The LLC is your business.
Your entity. Yeah.
Right. So whatever is in there, it doesn't matter in terms of getting in and out of cars. The LLC doesn't go with the car.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, there's no sales tax and there's nothing. So
right, but there's no sales tax in Montana anyway.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. So you would even do it. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. But that not everybody does that. But even again, the tax
it's risky
trades,
fucking business.
Correct. But also the tax trade states, it's almost the same thing.
Where you do your trade in and it dumps all your tax out. Yeah.
Depending.
Rhode Island's the same thing.
Right.
Mass.
So that is surprisingly one of the biggest things I'm noticing is the amount of frequent turnover, especially our age demographic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Really, our age demographic is really where I'm seeing most.
Right, because if you get one mean deal, you can go trade it in. You have this nest egg sitting in the delership, and you just oh shit, huh?
Yeah.
God damn, I'm an idiot.
How is?
Never too late.
Right, because that's you pay that entry fee, right?
There's 200 grand just hanging in a dealership and just fucking trade cars in and out all the time.
They don't care. Dealers, they want inventory. I want to get back my inventory. I know that.
Yeah.
And I'm getting less and less of the stuff back because they're trading it to other dealers or whatever. And it's that's why this business has been so successful for all these years, because I got back.
Right, you're realistic. Yeah, you're seeing stuff multiple times.
Yeah.
How is the international market?
I haven't sold too many cars overseas this summer, just a few. Now we're seeing a flood of cars coming this direction versus out.
Okay.
Because you can get a 993 for less money out there, right? Mm-hmm. And then let's call it 10, 15 grand to bring it over here. But if there's if it's 25 grand to buy it more over here, then that $10,000-$15,000 delta.
It makes it worth it.
Yeah.
What if I buy some shit over there?
How does it cost 10, 15 grand to get it over here? Where's it coming from?
Taxes and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's import duty.
Depending upon the state,
transportation doesn't cost anything.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. I only was thinking shipping costs.
That's why I think if I bought it over there and kept it for a while, I think I could get it in here cheap. Yeah. But I think I have to keep it there for like 5 years or something. I got to look at those laws.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys moving cars to Canada, so they're buying it from wherever in Europe or Asia, and then
bringing it through Canada.
And then going to Canada. And
interesting.
And they're buying or not buying, but renting space over there
Yeah.
until it's matured and then bringing it over here.
How are they getting it into Canada with no?
It's not the same. It's not the same.
It's a lot less.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Okay.
It's 15 in Canada.
15 years, but I think the taxes are totally different too.
Yeah.
Like,
Or even just
wait.
like if they didn't have a residence or established
All the import
company
duties are put in the States by car companies lobbying. That's why you can't bring stuff in cheap.
Yeah.
right.
I know a guy that used to just like buy like an SL 500 would come out the first gen or 600. I remember he came to my old man's house. He was like a big time lawyer, and he'd buy it in South Africa and ship it over somehow. And
Shh, you can't be talking about this stuff, right?
dude, he's fucking long out of this game. But he'd have it for 6 months to a year and then sell it for more than they bought it.
Yeah.
If you can work import stuff like that, it's insane.
That's how my dad got into the business, was gray market cars. So he was.
Oh
bringing in
yeah,
a lot
those
of-
things are sick.
So that's how he did. Because remember, we had this huge embargo of the kind of stuff like in the late 70s, early 80s.
Right. So he was a man who could get.
Yeah, he
things.
brought the pre-merger AMGs over here, the 930s.
Yep.
We didn't get, he was bringing 80 to 85. He was bringing those cars over and doing the paperwork and all the other stuff to get it,
Yeah, just help people along.
Yep, because you couldn't buy that stuff at the dealership.
Yeah.
Loopholes are cool.
They're
You
fun.
got the cash though.
They're fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gotta have the bank.
Is there any way for you to put in like in a sales agreement when you sell a car that you get a first right of refusal?
I tried doing that.
Well, you can't defend.
You
that
can't
anywhere.
can't force anybody. I know some dealerships that will
This
literally take
America,
you to the
baby.
mat to do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's as soon as it goes to court, you're fucked.
It's your car. It's your property. I don't
Yeah.
even know how they have the balls to do that.
greatest
But I
country in the
know,
world.
I do
I'm just
know
trying to
it's-
think of ways this way you get your inventory back.
I get it. No,
Yeah.
I totally
You're
get
just gonna
it.
pay top dollar.
There's the loyalty is just not there as a way. It's all about money now.
Yeah.
Right.
I argued a deal the other day on a $92,000 deal over $500.
That's wild.
I get it. I'm
That's
not
a
gonna lie to you.
contest.
I get it. There was some,
my kinda-
there was
hey,
some
that's my
principle
kinda
in there
contest.
somewhere. Yeah.
No,
There was some principle in there somewhere.
no.
What was the $500 discrepancy over? If you can disclose that.
It was the service when we did it. So I do everything has to get a PPI, pre-purchase inspection, and I quoted something like, let's say it was $2,500. I told him it was gonna be $2,000, and there was that $500 difference, and he's like, "I'm not paying." I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" Like this guy's like literally making, but it's I mean that's how it come, and I just move on. It's better to make whatever. I
Make
just
the sale.
make a
Right,
sale, and be
complete the
done with it. It's
deal
not,
and-
but it was just funny.
Yeah.
It really comes down, and it's exactly what you think. It's that whole boomer generation, not to throw that under,
No,
it's
yeah,
exactly what you
that's-
think.
They're the fucking
yeah.
worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Wow. There was no principle there. I don't know. The principle was you told
Dude,
me
I-
$2,000.
Fucking.
It's
But
I
it was
don't
an
know, 'cause I know
estimate. It
you.
was an estimate.
Okay,
It was
yeah,
I showed him an estimate. I go, I think it's going to be this much, and then it came in
Yeah.
whatever, $500. I could even, to be honest with you, I can't remember. It could have been even more than that. And I was just like, I think it's going to be a $500 difference, and he was just like, nope.
You tell him no car then?
No car for you.
Yeah.
Gotta move it. Gotta grind.
Yeah,
I
don't
mean, I
make your
still
money
made
not
money at the
selling.
end of the day.
Don't
but-
make
Yeah.
your money not selling cars.
Yeah.
Well, it's
fucking
a
dirty, man.
it's a totally different business. Like I've been around this. I started working with my dad in 2006, 2007, and it's changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so hard to get just the basic deals down now. Like every deal's a grind. The other day I had a guy come in and liked the car, wanted to move forward with purchase. We agreed a price, paid me money the next day, and it felt unnatural. Like it just doesn't work like that anymore.
right.
Like, oh, I like that. How much is that? I'll pay that.
Cool.
I'll pick it up next week. Cool.
Yeah.
Back in the
Right.
day,
Like,
but
that doesn't do that. Nobody does that anymore.
your clientele back in the day had to be like niche, like car dudes.
Yeah.
They're like, I like Porsches.
Are you seeing a lot of new faces?
Oh yeah.
So that's what I was going to say. It kind of sucks to hear that, the relationship building side of things is, whether it's new or old
How-
faces, it just.
How are these new faces finding you?
I have a big social media following,
Yeah.
and I have great support throughout the entire community. I don't do any more print ads or stuff like that, but I feel like we've been a brand for
Yeah. So it's a lot of it's
1970s,
word of mouth.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I think, when these guys get into the hobby, they start doing, digging in deep into like oh my God.
Pelican?
Well, there's Pelican and there's
Renless?
Renless, thank you. And they just go through all the archives and they just, see we've been around for long.
So that's what I was going to say is like, not that people shouldn't educate themselves on the product, right? But a simple deal with a good price and a good car and somebody likes it can, instead of that handshake and yep, I'm taking this on my way home, they're going to come in with a fucking 50-page essay on questions to ask you now.
They're overeducated.
Right? Is there nitrogen in the tire? I've witnessed that.
Yeah, no, they're overeducated. I've had guys that want like engine numbers on 993s. Like you don't swap out motors on a 15,000 mile 993 unless, like you just. But right, they, and I just. I feel bad, but some guys, I just like, the car's not for you.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I can't, and I'm very polite about it, but I'm just like, when guys get that crazy about it, and there's gaps in history, right? So like, let's say this guy owned it 25 years, right? And he serviced it, but he had a buddy that had a great, you know, was mechanically inclined. He could do stuff on, you know, on a Saturday, a couple beers, do an oil change, boom. But he didn't write any of that crap down. He didn't, know.
Right.
Because in the end, it's just a car.
Just a car.
Yeah.
So now, honestly, if you buy something, you want to know how it is right now. If it's a piece of shit, then walk away. But if the car's been serviced, who cares if it has all the paper? Obviously, that adds a premium. It adds more to the car if you have all that stuff. It doesn't make it a bad car if it doesn't.
Right. But if you're buying it as an investment, it does.
That's how everybody is coming in right now.
That
I get very few enthusiasts that are like that honestly can just turn their own wrenches as well.
Are these boys all spending their own money? What's your finance? You get a bunch of guys financing? Like, what's the percentage?
It's 9.5 now.
9.5 is the rate? Ain't bad.
That's your light stream?
What's the percentage of customers you think end up financing? If you don't mind, I mean, you don't have to tell us.
This week, I sold 3 cars and one of them did it.
All right, sort of solid. All right. I don't know if everybody's spending their own money. Everybody's like, "Fuck, money's not cheap right now," which is why I asked. You know,
I
mean,
it's been a minute.
Old ass cars.
I definitely was, back in COVID times when rates were pretty. Yes, there would.
Why
if I had to put a number on it, I would say like, I mean, I had a direct line to like Woodside.
I remember that. Yeah.
Like,
your man's over
my
there.
man's over there.
Yeah.
Like I spoke to him today. He's like, we haven't talked in a while. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, your rates are high, you know. Like,
yeah, but they were like, it was like 4 or 5% then, right?
They're 9.5.
Yeah, back in the day though.
Yeah.
Like COVID times.
I think they were even lower. I think
was it that low?
I think it was in the threes.
Then.
I think it was 3.5 at one point. I think 3.5 is the lowest I've seen. Yeah, I think it was 3.5.
No way. That's crazy for an old car like that too.
That's super low.
But those guys specialize in that old shit, so they know it's worth the money.
Yep.
It's not like you go to the credit union, like, yeah, I'm buying a 73. Get fucked.
Nope. I mean, they a couple of the guys like will come to my shop and, you know, find out what things are really selling for. And,
Yeah.
You know, so.
Doing research. That's weird.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I held that event a couple of weeks ago. It was a private event with a large insurance company.
That's
to
awesome.
Kind of like, because it also helps me out because a lot of people pin me against these books that go out, right? They put these value books out and they're like, yeah, well, you know, this says it's, I'm like, well, sold 6 of them for this number, not what's in this book.
You have reality to back it.
Yeah, maybe for a piece of shit. One of those.
Well, they're just trying to do the
a lot of hair.
I get it. Like everybody's trying to look for a deal. I get it. But
we're talking 80s metal band type hair on that thing.
You know?
No, every time I talk to you about cars for auction, you're like, yeah, this had that and that and that. It's your knowledge of the stuff is crazy. So, hey, what's up with this? You're like, oh no, that had this and that and that.
It's a
like,
very
good ones
small
don't go to
circle.
auction.
There's a very small circle of this stuff, you know, especially the rare stuff, you know, the one of a kind stuff. I mean, I've been around these cars since I'm 44 years old, my entire life.
Do good ones go to auction?
Not as many as you think they do.
Yeah, so I thought.
Not as many. Yep. I mean, if you think about it, if you just boil down an auction, it's usually what you're, you know, like eBay,
I know,
it's what you're kicking out the door. It's not
Yeah.
something you want.
Right.
Yeah, it's not that crown jewels.
And that's what I don't get is like when you're bidding at an auction, you don't want to be you obviously want to be the top dog to win it, but you don't want to spend.
I don't want to pay market at an auction.
You think you're getting a deal.
Right.
Right. I mean,
maybe not anymore, I guess.
I don't know. And I also think that people are very proud they like the display. They like that they paid $125,000 for a $75,000
right,
car.
it's just a
I've
peacock.
talked about that here so many times.
It's
You see these
peacocking.
things.
Yeah.
I hate that so much.
Yeah.
I've
It's a look at me
witnessed
thing.
it.
Yeah.
I've
Oh, for
witnessed
sure,
it.
for
You know,
sure.
like, oh, I was crazy, but like, you know,
Look at it.
yeah.
Just look at it. It came with this value.
It's almost they want a peacock and or talk themselves into it at the same time.
Oh, it will eventually be at that number. You know, they always say they
It'll get there. The currency keeps inflating. We'll be $1.50.
So is it safe to not assume, but maybe say like sometimes the auction car, like the cars that don't make it to auction that just get sold privately, are like the better examples that don't need to go to auction to kind of be put on this whole pomp and circumstance to sell them?
For the most part, I would say like The cars that do really well at auctions are ones that have like some type of notable past, maybe,
Yeah, like fucking museum shit.
yeah, like storied cars or like something like that is like something, that everybody is fighting for, and you can't get to that wider audience without it.
Mm-hmm.
But like for like a standard issue 993 silver and black, made thousands of, you're not.
Yeah, right. It's here I present to you today. Yeah.
And that's another thing is like a lot of these guys are getting down to like, this is, I mean, it's kind of like the Corvette guys, right?
It's exactly
it's the same thing. And
Yeah.
now it's kind of, going, now it's rampant in the Porsche world, especially the water cooled stuff. These guys are tabling all that stuff. And that's another reason that's like the whole new GT3 market. Like they all know like how many
They
were
just
made.
put them away.
Well, they know it's just they just know how many were built. Like they have like algorithms to find out all this stuff.
Yeah.
and they-
I was gonna say right because even when you're specing one out, hypothetically, if you can go order one, if you do a paint to sample car with this combination of seats with the Y6 package and these yellow seat belts, oh, this is a one of one. This is the Garcia edition, whatever.
There's a local dude that drives a GT3 RS around, and
How puffy's his vest?
he is. It's not even at $500,000. It's not even an appreciable amount of money for this guy. I think that's why he's the only guy I ever see drive on
Talking
around.
about homie in Newport.
No, he's from Providence.
There's another dude in Newport does the same. Goes to Home Depot, throws lumber inside.
This dude,
of it.
same thing. This
Right.
dude,
Give a fuck.
I mean, this dude's a billionaire,
Yeah.
and he just. I mean, I was on top of an on ramp and it went under me, and you could see the top of the wing, and I'm like, "Oh, daddy!"
Yeah.
And he drives that shit. It's the same guy that was used to drive V10 R8 in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just like
I've seen it too. I've seen.
if you get cash like that,
Yeah.
at least those guys drive them.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah.
investing in it,
yeah, I've
maybe
seen.
you don't drive
I've
it.
seen Porsches with snow tires on it. And, I've seen it.
oh, it's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, I mean they're built for that. I mean they test them; they're not going to fall apart.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's these
Oh,
guys.
they're unbelievably reliable cars. They're fucking unbelievable.
I mean,
cars.
again, I stress this every single time I come here. It's like, yes, the entry fee is very expensive, but like to keep them happy throughout the years, it's not $10,000 a year to keep these cars.
yeah, and if the market stays high, yeah, you pay $100K for this thing, but you're probably going to sell it. It's like the higher level Lotus, the Lotus Elise, right? It's 35, 45 grand all the time. You drive forever and sell it again.
Yep.
Same thing at this, right?
Yep.
You pay 100, 150. You drive it around for as long as you want, sell it for 150.
Well, I think it goes up.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, currently, yeah,
Yeah, it goes
You
up.
sell for 175, and you're like, see you.
And I think that's why these guys are horse trading a lot.
And
Because they
Boy,
get,
Matt,
they're
that's a free
they're
car.
literally getting paid. No, well, they're literally getting paid to
pay to
drive. the
drive.
car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Boy,
the
Matt.
wild thing.
The sponsored drivers.
What
And
do
they get
you?
mad if like, they're getting their full money back, right?
Yeah.
And instead of making 50 grand, they're getting like 42. It's like,
should
they left money on the table.
I'm
Corey,
fucking getting-
I know Corey's getting upset. You would do the same thing, but
Dude, they should see me taking a bath on my daily drivers all the time. Fucking moron.
What is this guy
just
doing?
bought whatever I could in Porsche for that money, driven it for free. Fuck.
Right, you could have made
I gotta make that.
realistic.
I mean,
realistically.
at least you bought that. I'm in a lease.
It's just going out the window.
Yeah,
You're in a lease for
I'm just pissing in the wind. Like I'm just,
I leased a car for my wife. It's not, if
I leased a Model 3.
yeah.
It's
at least a
fantastic.
Tiguan. It's fine. It's like, it's
There's
fine.
absolutely
There's certain
no
things that are not
world.
going to be.
yeah.
No
That's-
world I want to
I'm-
own a Tesla.
I'm looking for a big ROI in my Tiguan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what are you going to do?
No, at least in the Model 3 is a great solution, but I don't know, man.
I always
then
forget you own that thing.
Yeah, me too. No, but then I think about it's like, like to sell off everything, right? It's this dream, right? To sell off everything I have, and then buy something and just like make it work and like daily drive it for a period of time until I don't need to daily drive it.
Put yourself really in that scenario. Now that thing is pretty much priceless to you, right?
Yeah.
Because you've invested all in it.
Yeah,
So are you really going to use it?
you have no. You put yourself in a position where you have no choice.
Well, I know guys that have cashed out of
Yeah.
savings. Actually, there was a guy a couple of years ago that was a young guy.
Yeah,
And he cashed out everything he had to buy a 964
Yeah.
as a long-term hold. And I was like, damn, that's it. Like, God forbid
Yeah.
anything happens to that car.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know if I could do that.
It's a risk for
Yeah.
sure.
yeah. It's a crazy risk, but hey, no risk, no reward.
I
Right.
guess so.
Right.
Yeah.
If you don't have to answer this. Good year. Not necessarily on what your income was, but like just car
better,
sales in general. Like
I would say better than last year.
how many you moved?
Hell yeah.
Good.
Better than last year. Yeah.
I went to the bathroom. I was thinking there, I'm going to take some money out of the house. Put it in the Porsche, dude.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I liquidate all the cars. The three cars.
I didn't even have to liquidate. I just home equity loans.
I'm thinking in my position, liquidate the 3 cars.
Yeah.
There
money
are
I
some
got.
good deals right now, like on the newer end, not so much. Like everybody knows what. Sorry,
some deals at your place right now, my guy.
There's no deals in those stores.
I didn't say my
Come on,
place.
my guy.
I didn't say my place. No.
How do we make that bat phone ring?
yeah, let's get on that bat line, dude.
Doors are shut.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Shit, it's,
but
it's free money.
Yeah.
The 997.2s, the 991.1s are also really good too.
What are we talking?
So-
Just Carreras, or can we go all the way up?
You can go all the way up. You can standard Carreras are great. They're like great cars for
How's GT3?
60.
We getting prices?
You could, but the thing is, you can get like a $65,000 991.1 and do mods to it, and it could be faster than a GT or as fast as a GT. Not faster, but perform. Okay, yeah, I know you're pretty stocked.
Yeah, he's a real stock purist guy over there.
No, I'll go 991. I like GTSs too. Those are cool as hell.
That's a sleeper. Yeah,
It's a
there's
cool
a great
car.
car. Yeah, there's a great cars. Yeah, that definitely will appreciate.
I don't need RS stuff. That's crazy.
I think
it's cool as shit.
I mean, in
yeah.
your case, like you do track time and stuff, but I don't know if you want something like that on the. I don't know. I mean, I
do. I'm sure the insurance company doesn't, but I'm thinking I want that on the track.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I track a Miata, so it's gonna be hard.
Right, it's
pretty
just
high
the
bar.
comparison.
It's
Yeah,
a pretty
just-
high bar. We'll go check it out later.
you're building up.
I take
to
it for a ride, but I don't have a passenger
that
seat.
driving experience is very difficult to replicate.
Have you ever done like a Porsche driving school or anything like that?
No, I know better than that.
You should.
I know what would happen
You
at the
sure
end
you
of that
said
day.
You should.
Yeah,
I'd be down at the home equity line of credit line
Phil
at the
did
bank.
one in Atlanta, a buddy Phil, and he was like, "Man,
That is the place too, right?
I think he was saying like he just had the gold truck at the time, and he was like,
I've been
For sale.
yeah,
I did touring laps on a track in the Porsche full size SUV.
yeah,
It was like before I really got into track stuff, and I was like, "This doesn't make any fucking sense how good this thing is."
Yep.
And then I think I drove a Ferrari, and I was like, "That's good. I know I can't get."
We
one
drove
of
by the PEC in LA.
Yeah.
and I looked at that. I was like,
You should do it.
No, that's a terrible idea.
I would love to do it.
And
It's the closest I'm ever gonna come.
It's not. Don't talk like that.
we got to pump those numbers
You
up.
pump up those numbers,
Gotta
buddy.
pump
Yeah.
those numbers up.
Don't worry, Igor gave us $5
Bucks for
Hey,
boys.
Chev's-
Oh.
Devon's Auto X in the chat.
Igor in the chat. Let's go right to that GTS.
Those
Yeah.
are great cars. The GTS.
They're
cars.
really cool,
Yeah, they
man. I
are.
really like those.
Yep.
I want a little creature comfort. I can't get a Porsche just track it. Like,
Yeah.
this would be like a drive around and
On
have
the
fun on the
topic
weekends.
of like good deals. Are there people? This is my own crazy theory. People like buying cars and then hyping them to create the market.
100%.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
for sure.
100%.
Bunch of phony
It's not in
balonies
your
out
mind. It's
Phony
reality.
balonies.
Bunch of
That's
phony
exactly what's
balonies out
happening.
there.
You know. Yep.
I see people
You
hype
know.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah.
Am I just crazy?
Dude,
Do
fucking
I not
Chris
get
hypes that thing one more time. I swear to God, dude. Lying to my boy.
it? Yeah.
Come on.
I don't know. Like, what's the okay? I don't know.
I'm not throwing anybody under the bus.
No,
if that's
no,
what
no.
you're
But
doing.
what's
I'm not.
no. Unrelated
Just
to what
by
you just
name.
said. What's like the most
Phone numbers?
hyped car that you're like, these people are out of their fucking mind?
Oh, I love that. That's a great question. He's like,
I would say like the new stuff definitely because
Yeah.
there's so many of them.
Yeah. Okay.
I would definitely say the new stuff. The 997 twin turbo market manual. I feel like, yeah, they're rare, but like, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like. I don't think it needs to be hundreds of $1,000s more.
doesn't
than-
even make it move.
Yeah, I mean I personally like them with the PDK system, like the point twos. The point ones with the Tiptronics is a different story.
But the
point two,
PDK is sick.
It's sick. It's sick, and you physically can't drive as fast in a manual as a
I
computer
might be
does.
able to.
Well, we'll see.
there's no
We still
fucking
got
way,
that
dude.
drag race
There's
after
no
this.
fucking way.
Old
We'll
ratchet
see.
arm
We'll
over
see
there.
how you are in that M5. I've seen you drive.
That
Yeah.
baby's got a flappy paddles.
Well,
Flappy paddles all over the
We'll
place.
see. We'll see.
Yeah, I see people like talking about this stuff and like or making videos of content. I'm just like, what am I missing?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a pretty close-minded guy, but you try and keep it open
I think
for like cars. Like
the singers. I mean, I might be catching shots for this, but I don't think the singers are worth.
Scott is gonna behead you.
Scott doesn't know where I live. He's
Yeah.
Scott, You know that too. I mean,
Scott can liquidate and go get one of
Yeah,
those fucking
yeah,
things.
exactly.
That's your revival motoring hot take.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
I don't think it's that hot of a take. I
they're
think I agree.
bespoke pieces, right? But it like
Even the way he says it.
exactly, yeah, it's a bespoke piece. It's just knocked into my head.
But Brett, it's a work of art.
I just don't get 7 figures for stuff like that.
Yeah,
Right.
it's insane.
Yeah, and they're buying them. Let's say I don't know, 800 and flipping them immediately for like 1.2, 1.4 is like,
Crazy.
what are you doing?
Yeah,
Should have had Nakai touch that.
To me,
thing.
they all look kind of. Well, that's. I'm not going to get into that.
That's a
But
whole-
that's. I think everybody on this channel agrees to that. But come on, that yeah. But that stuff kind of, I think, is overhyped. You know, I know a lot of people say air cooled cars are overhyped too, but unless you've had some seat time and you'll understand, like there is a charm to them.
Yeah.
They're definitely
Oh,
fun
yeah, they're
drivers.
fucking
That's why
awesome.
like the investing part of it sucks.
Yeah.
Because they are so great. They're great to drive.
They're great to drive.
Right, it's
They're-
really
they're
killing-
very
They
They
warning.
sound
Yeah.
great. They visceral. All that stuff is right.
Yeah,
It's just
it's
at
interesting.
$100,000. Like Jesus.
Like even the stuff that's like spicier, like I just drove for the first time a 993 Carrera RS Club Sport, and I was completely
Is it
intimidated.
the yellow
by
one?
The yellow one with
That
a
thing's sick.
full cage, 3.8, and lightweight flywheel, stripped out, and I was scared. Like I was like, all right, I gotta like, I usually bring Targa with me and go test drives. Like I was like, you're sitting this one out. I gotta like focus on
Keeping
this.
this thing on the
I'm
ground.
not putting this thing around a tree. And it was surprisingly very docile. Like I could drive it on. The clutch was light. Like everything was very.
just comfortable.
But
not as-
that's how Porsche designs cars. I've heard that, and I have never driven one, but like I've heard even 962s are like that. Like a full-on prototype
Real race car.
962 race car
Yep.
is easy to drive.
I
And
was
people street those. Like there's a guy in Japan that has one, and there are a couple of them.
Those are sick.
You can actually street a 962, and I think most race cars that Porsche builds, unless it gets really crazy with clutches and whatever, but you'd be very surprised that that's how engineered they are. I mean,
Yeah.
they're really approachable cars.
I was shocked with when I took Scott's GT3 out of here like a total asshole, and the thing was fine.
Yeah.
It wasn't even
Not a care in the world.
Not at a point was it even like, yeah, you're in trouble. It was just like, do whatever you want. Harder, daddy.
The only car that I've ever driven that's a factory car well, obviously the Carrera GT, for obvious reason that car is scary, but like the 2011 GT2 RS is
Yeah,
I think
that
one
sounds
of the
fucking-
cars that slipped under the radar at Porsche engineering, where it was not fully developed when it left.
It was half baked.
I think so. I think so. Yeah. I mean, that thing will spin the tires in third gear
Yeah.
without even like the whole front, especially if you get the carbon fiber front fenders, which is an option. Now the whole front,
Extra light.
and it's a twin turbo. It's 615 horsepower.
Fucking
It's
hell.
faster than a Carrera GT, maybe even more. I haven't had one in
Lord.
a long time, but that car scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, that seems.
Because even a standard
Interesting.
GT2 of that era, that as soon as you start taking away the all-wheel drive system, then that car is just
Yeah, it
that
doesn't
is-
matter how much tire you got back there.
No, that car is just fighting for traction, and then you throw an RS badge at it, and now it's like
Then you try to turn it on the throttle. Like, there we go.
That
Well, then you
car-
lift, right? And that's when they go,
that's
That's
when
the-
it
they
gets
go
scary. You
around.
gotta stay in it all the time. Oh yeah,
that's fucking the balls.
Yeah. Some of the cars you've got come through there. You've had the Cosworth come through there.
yep.
You've got the Z46 M3 wagon.
Cosworth is
What?
sick.
How special the car have to be to come through there and it not be a Porsche and you to get your hands on it?
Like a
or is it a
Polo.
friend situation?
whole
No, I mean the
collection.
Cosworth was obviously Greg's car. That's a friend, but
Yeah.
I had a really cool Ferrari 575 Super America
I remember
with a
that
glass
thing.
top.
Yeah.
I'm into cars.
Yeah.
So if it gets me going,
If it vibes.
yeah, and it's not something that you see at every other car dealership.
Mm-hmm.
I do turn down a lot of interesting stuff, but it's like R8s are sweet. I love R8s. I had one recently, but
Get daddy a cheap one. Bring one in cheap.
I know I love those.
They're so cool.
I love those.
They're so fucking cool.
But,
10-cylinder, don't care about
The
anything else.
BMW, the thing with the BMW was that I found out about that car a couple years ago, and I did a 911R with that guy, a Speedster, a brand new Speedster, and the Speedster I had to pick it up at his house or garage or wherever, and he picked me up in the BMW, and all I wanted to talk about was the BMW. I could care less about the Speedster.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
And that was a couple years ago. So now it's like always, I said, like, whenever you want to sell it, you just hit me up.
Right, just interest
Yeah,
you
and I
enough.
got it once before, but he wasn't ready to sell it.
I remember that. Too.
I remember.
took it
Yeah.
back.
You were here.
That went
last time.
viral too. Like Road and Track picked. Like
Yeah.
I was literally answering the phone, like the price of the car, and hanging up on people because it was just like, it was comical. Like the phone just
That'd be a
wouldn't
nice car
stop
for you.
Nice family wagon.
Little
I
family
tried.
wagon.
My wife doesn't like it.
It doesn't. How do you not like it?
It's manual, so
I
it's
get
jerky.
it. I fucking hate E46.
I don't hate them.
Did you own one?
No, I've driven them extensively. I
Yeah.
just don't like them. I mean, the
I
M3s,
love it.
The
I love
M3s
it.
are the best ones.
Yeah.
It's just something about
That-
the interior. Something freaks me out.
That
on those.
particular one is too nice as well. Like
Yeah.
he has so many OEM NOS stuff. Like the sticker on the carpeting is still there. Like it's so. When I drive the car to events, I have plastic over the seats.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like scared. I don't drink in it. Like
Sit your ass on the
the
plastic.
first event I brought it to, I had my family in it. And like I was the entire time I was watching my son in the mirror, like making sure I was like, You're not
Cheetos.
eating. You're not eating. You're not
Yeah.
eating.
Yeah, yeah.
You're going hungry. I
Because
don't care
then
if
you
cry
do
or
own
not.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
Be
Yeah,
a nice
so-
way to overrule the wife.
What's with the white? There's another white one on Instagram that's been blowing up right now.
Yeah, that one's in California. Is that the one on TEs?
No, I don't
Sounds
think
right.
so.
I think it
Some
has
BBS
CDs
mushroom- Maybe it does. I don't know.
That one's out in California. That's a little. So the one that I have is all metal. There are a couple out there. There's like fiberglass fenders. There's a guy making carbon fiber fenders out of them. But the fit and finish, it's a cool thing if you build it that
Yeah.
way. But this guy was like,
OEM.
I'm gonna make it OEM.
Yeah.
Exactly. There isn't a single everybody's like, oh, I should put a CSL carbon box on that. They didn't make
Yeah.
that's not the point of the car. It's not to. It is to replicate what BMW teased in
Also,
2004.
pain in the
know.
dick. Put a CSL car in box. You have to do all sorts of engine management shit on those cars. No, thank you.
I don't know, but his point was like, I just, and it does have a CSL exhaust, but that's only because one thing, but
Yeah.
because he had an Eisman exhaust on it when I first saw it, it was loud.
Yeah.
So he just put that on
Yeah,
there.
that's
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah,
I mean, that
so-
thing, the video you posted the other day of just like even the lights for all four doors, like that, it just,
I'm
Yeah,
just
I love
nerding
that.
out
Absurd.
on
I
it.
went
I'm
nuts.
enjoying it as much as you guys
Absurd
are. Like,
level
I'm
of-
like, you guys got to see this.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Why
like,
didn't you bring it?
I don't want to put miles on it.
That's cruel.
I thought you guys were going to go
I
to.
want to throw you a couple $100
I thought you were
to
going.
bring it.
I brought it out to Formula 9.
yeah.
We were
Big
in-
shouts to Mike
Yeah,
Callahan.
hold on.
Big
Why
shout
did
to
why
Mike.
didn't Josh go?
I thought you guys
Yeah,
were
why
coming
didn't
to
Josh
that.
go?
Emily wasn't going to handle a 2-hour drive and then 4 hours
drive.
in
Yeah,
the
6-hour flight.
cold and then 2 hours back.
Actually, it wound up being a beautiful day there.
Yeah,
It was gorgeous.
last year was brutal. I am super bummed I didn't get to go.
But I brought it there.
I am super bummed that the merch is currently sold out my size. I know
What
he's
size
bringing it
shirt are you?
back. Large.
XL, thank you.
Let's see if I have it in the car. I have a shirt in there. I don't know if it's a medium or. I'm a pretty medium kind of guy, but
Yeah,
I might. We'll
yeah.
see. We'll see.
See what we got.
All right. It
I
might be on the
really
way out.
want that hoodie. So
Well, we'll wrestle on the way out.
yeah.
Your, what I wanted to ask, your current inventory, what stands out?
Let's see. I like that RSCS I just told about the Club Sport. That's pretty cool. There's that 82 911 SC ROW. So Resto World is a real nerdy car. I think if you walked in my showroom, you probably wouldn't pay attention to it, but it's got a lot of details that are like super clean, like OEM plus. Like that's really my style. Like no sunroof, but the guy shaved the passenger mirror, shaved the fog lamps. Every touch point that was plastic was wrapped in leather. No air conditioning, no power windows, no radio with that hot 3-liter motor I was telling you about earlier that wound up costing almost 40 grand. But like to me, that's like cool because it's not like peacocking, like, but you
Right.
gotta like know what you're looking at.
It's refined. Yeah.
And it's like beautiful, like it's show 'em fresh. The 4-liter is always, the 4-liters are always, one of my favorite cars. I have a 97 Turbo S that I've had for a while that I'm going to be selling, which is a VO Metallic, the purple one.
Yeah.
They made 3 in that color.
Yeah.
Is that the one you took to
The bridge.
yeah.
That was the first time I had that car out.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That car is,
Dude.
it's got a heavy ticket on it. It's a big boy car.
I think
Yeah.
that's the one I was like, does your son understand?
That's the first Porsche he's ever been in.
Does he
He's ruined.
understand? Like
He's ruined.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine there's a lot of figures on that price tag, dude.
There's a bunch of zeros. There's a bunch of zeros.
Many zeros.
How many miles are on that
I'll
thing?
trade you this building for it.
Actually, I might come on top.
You know what?
Baby, it's a free car. How many miles are on that thing?
11,000.
Nah, that's too much for me.
How many owners? How many
I want to break
owners?
10,000.
How many owners?
It's a 200 car. Yep.
That's insane. Is that on your website?
It is. Yeah.
I just put eyes on it. You guys do what you want.
I don't know if I ever asked you, is there a unicorn car for you, not to own, but as to just be involved with the consignment of trading hands, however?
I mean, there's a lot of cars I'll never get a hand. I've had 959. I believe you saw a 959 in my shop.
Yeah.
That there's certain cars that are now like Bruce Canepa. As he has the stronghold on those cars. I'm not going to see those cars again. Same thing with the 4-liters. There's a couple of dealers that are stockpiling those things as well.
Yeah,
I'm never going to. There's a lot of special cars like that I have had a chance.
I was going to say that have crossed,
but I'll never see them again, just because there's quote unquote specialists now that are really kind of cornered that market. And 904s, 906s, stuff like that are incredible cars. Again, Road Scholars down in Carolinas have that stronghold on those cars as well.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else. I mean, 911R again, untouchable. They were supposedly made 21, and there's like 42 of them walking around. Like stuff like that. Real RSRs. Yeah, that kind of stuff. It's always I've been very fortunate to see a lot of like the one of ones and the cars that they only made teens of, like 10, 15 car. What are you laughing about? What? Go on.
The subtitle on this 97, 93 Turbo S Viola Metallic Rubicon Gray, 11,903 miles. You said 11,000. Believed to be one of 3 Viola Metallic examples. No modifications. Blue chip investment. Fucking clickbait.
Yeah. Was that on caps?
I bet
that was on
dude.
caps. Right?
All in caps. There's 15 exclamation points after it, and it's the what I hate to see call us for pricing. Which for me means text Brett to be sad. Hey, buddy.
We changed it. So I used to have pricing up there.
Oh, they're all calls for pricing now.
Yeah,
right,
no,
so
there's a reason why I changed that. And I get a lot of crap for that. So years ago, we had pricing on the website. We had pricing in the magazines and pricing everywhere, right? Maybe a few cars call for pricing, but for majority, we're out there. The problem is that these guys collect magazines over the years, and they would call me up like, I can't believe you're asking that. You're asking 80 grand. Now it's 150 grand. It's
you're trying to erase history.
Right. Yeah. That was a decade ago.
Yeah. That, and also the second fold to that is that I get dealers calling, and they still do, asking for pricing. And if my car's a 10 and you got a 4, and you're trying to ask the same amount of money for what I got, like I vet out, like, I look at 10 cars a month and only taking 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to get the cream of the crop, and that's why I'm asking the crazy numbers. But I don't want to, and I know I'd hurt the market for a while because people were like, oh, they're asking this. All these cars are this much money, all of them. Yeah, and that's hurting everybody. But I mean, listen, just call me up, text me, smoke signals. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna hit you up, like I'm gonna respond back, but I'm not gonna put it out there.
Right.
You gotta work for it
on a public forum. Yeah. What are you looking at over there? You still looking at that car?
On that
74 Euro Carrera 2.7 white?
That is an interesting car. That's a sleeper.
Flip it around. Because I was just going to ask a question about a particular car. Is there still a lot of hype on these things?
Not enough.
Oh yeah,
not enough.
This going cheap. We get cheap money.
This is the thing is, so in 1970.
Stop me with how many numbers?
Holy shit! That
I didn't say
cool.
stop.
Yeah. Dude, we know.
My arms can only open so wide.
Dude, that thing is so cool.
We all know it's 73.
It's about 7 feet.
Yeah. In 73, you get the iconic Carrera RS. That's the first year of the Carrera RS, the RS badge, right? That had the 2.7 MFI motor, 210 horsepower with the ducktail, like with the graphics on the side. We all know that was iconic. And then in 74, they that's the first year of the G series with the big impact bumper, So in the US, we didn't get the spicy 2.7 MFI motor. We got the CIS motor, which was just choked. I haven't had one in a while, but I believe the car only had about 135, 150 horsepower.
Fucking hell.
It's dramatically different. They're still fun to drive, but they're not. So anyway, the 74, 75, and 76 models were European-only cars, and they still had the 2.7 MFI motor that was in the Carrera RS. They didn't call them RSs. Mm-hmm. They just call them Carreras. And the thing is, they make the same horsepower, and they're exactly the same weight as the 73 Carrera RS Touring.
No, that thing
for half the cost.
Slaps,
for half the cost.
Holy shit! For half the cost is still a ton of money.
Yeah. Well,
goddamn, that thing's cool.
I mean, it's just let me know. We can wheel and deal.
We're talking deals.
Yeah,
I got a collection.
I brought keys with me and pink slips.
Dude, you trying to?
Imagine
you're trying to have a BMW section on your website.
You're stuck with the garage you have and one car parked in the middle.
Yeah, but it looks so good in there.
I don't know. I think the Revival boys need you need a demo car here.
That
you
would
have
be the
plenty of
best.
space in the other room.
Yeah,
Dude,
there's a Hot Wheels
You
back
need some
over there.
storage? Listen,
Yeah.
leave us the keys. We'll store it for
Yeah.
free.
May not have the insurance policy to
Yeah,
cover it.
we
but
might not be able to cover that one.
yeah.
God, so sick.
I think last one on least before we get you out of here. What's with the daily now?
Yeah, what the fuck
The
is going
SEMA
on
bill
out
part due.
I'm allergic to money, as we've all.
there?
So it's the Vossen SEMA built Opt wide body Q7 is sold,
Mm-hmm.
and now I have a 2021 SQ7 wide body Opt that is the daily now, and I finished that the end of August. So I haven't had that long.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's silver with the credit score red interior.
Crest score red, baby. That thing's insane.
Yeah.
Yep. And then BC wheels. It's got some suspension work, and then got some sway bars going in it tomorrow. V8 twin turbo, baby. I got to get that kid to school fast.
Yeah.
Make sure he's on time.
You must look like a lunatic pulling up the drop off in that fucking thing.
I don't know how many people actually even know.
They don't know.
Yeah,
No.
they're just oblivious.
For
I'm
whatever,
sure.
the other one got a lot more attention.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
The old one.
I
did.
can say
pulled in this thing. I
front
was like,
bumper was more aggressive, I guess.
It was,
I don't know,
yeah.
but that thing
Yeah.
is fucking insane looking.
I think it's more subtle than the other one. Maybe it's the color.
It
I don't
probably
know.
I think it's because
the
this one
fender
is
zone match
much
according
more.
to Chuck.
What's up?
Fender zone match.
I thought the fenders looked great. I didn't know what you were talking about. I'm a fucking podcast, dude. Come on. You have to
The
sell
other
that
thing,
thing someday.
the other thing, what are the pieces, the ops pieces made out of?
So the flares are glass. The door sills are carbon fiber, like the inserts all carbon fiber, and then the other one had more carbon. They had the front grille was done in carbon, and the rear diffuser was done in carbon. They wouldn't make that for the new version for whatever reason. There's no molds. They want to do it.
Yeah.
Like I asked, I had the side pieces. So there's 3 wide body cars in the country, and all the other 2 do not have the carbon sills. And I wasn't going out like that. Like,
Yeah,
I needed the
that's
car.
what I
I had it.
Yeah.
So because I got the carbon mirror caps, I had to match the carbon sides. So yeah, couple
You went
hours
in.
later,
You went in, dude.
but it took them like another 6 months to reproduce those.
Oh,
Wow.
No, I asked because our friend Jake, who was on the show, he's a painter his entire life. His
Yeah.
father was a painter, and he was talking about kind of like the difference in materials. It's always going to kind of have some sort of variation depending on how you look at it.
Yeah. I mean, the body shop said it was first. They didn't want to do the kit originally. They said doing body kits on cars is just the biggest pain in the ass. It's also a silver car, so it's like, it's hard to to paint that. And they took my gas door for like almost over a month to match the color. Like it was tough to do that. And then, but to Ops credit, like the kit like literally snapped in there.
Yeah.
The fit and finish, the gapping, like everything just really, it was no modifications, like just bolted right on.
I know. I was grilling the
video?
overfan. No. When you pulled up here,
we're jiggling them.
like the I didn't touch anything, but there's just like a perfect seam.
Yeah.
There's no like waviness, whatever. Because you see some of these other kids. Oh,
Let me tell you, the PDFs that came along with like the instruction booklet was so incredible. I mean, it was so in depth. Like
those are the Germans.
They're Germans, exactly. To the actually, obviously they recommend like what kind of adhesives to use it, but then they recommended what suction cups to adhere to the car, and then part numbers to go along with that, like everything, like every step of the way, like, and it was all broken down. I'm like, no exaggeration, it must have been about 50 pages. And I handed this guy like a total instruction manual of how to install this, and he's looking at me like, you got to be kidding me. And and then when I picked up the car, I was like, dude, that was incredible.
Where's this body shop?
It's called Gabriel's in Yonkers. So all the RSR
Yonkers?
Yeah, I know. But this guy does like Enzo era Ferraris.
Wow.
I found him. I sell. I'm the brick and mortar for the RSR project cars, which with a backdate G series cars to look like the 1970 RSRs, and they do an incredible job. They're all built at the body is built at Gabriel's. And the paint work he does it's like a factory over there. They're really, really hot, top notch guys. So yeah, I went over there. The project has been going on since it's about a year. It's a year since I first met him, introduced myself to him, and told him what the project was. And he banged it out. Like I think I got the car back after all the paint samples and talking and getting all the parts and all that stuff. The actual completion of it was less than a month. I think I got it back in like maybe 2.5, 3 weeks. Yeah, it's incredible.
I got to talk to my body guy.
Dude.
Did I just throw somebody on the bus?
Yeah, he had a vehicle of,
It was paint jail.
I don't know, 16th of the size.
But is yours window out and everything?
No, they painted the whole car.
Yeah, so I didn't do that.
I mean, that's how adults paint body kits. You paint the whole car.
I mean,
you're not going to be able to
how many
believe
months
the
did he
price.
have that thing?
I don't know, as long as I'm going to have the check to pay for it. I'll tell you that much.
So no
fair.
Porsches this round?
That's fair.
I don't think I could pay for a mirror cap for what this body kit cost. You
Yeah.
got to get them in China, dude. You get the real price.
Well, that's
just throw
funny.
100 hours into smoothing it out.
They sell knockoff op kits for
I'm
now,
sure, dude.
and
I'm
it's
sure.
incredible. Like you see them all on the forums and stuff like that, and it's still not cheap to be honest. It's still like $5,000-$6,000, which, I mean, it's not giving it away, but still.
No. Plus, all the labor's still there.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's not.
And then it's
Yeah,
more
the paint
labor.
and labor is still the same price on the other end.
Oh yeah.
Hey, no,
Yeah.
it's more.
It's more, yeah, to make it fit.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
exactly.
You got this porous piece of shit
Yeah.
body kit.
I get- yeah, yeah.
Hey, we had to reinforce this entire kit.
Yeah, but the opt, I can't speak. I mean, it was just the whole dealing with them. Like they have a headquarters a North American headquarters in Miami. I actually met the guy in person down there when I was on Amelia Island. Super nice guy, and even when we had questions about fitment, he bounced it back to Germany. They gave us like a full reason of how to do things and how to line things up, and it was just. It made everything very easy. Even, I mean, it came at expense at a cost, but it was well worth it because it's.
I mean,
I have 60,000, no more. I had 70,000 miles on the other one, and I drove that other one from. I mean, when Vossen had it, I believe they drove it to Vegas and back to Miami, and then I drove it from. I drove it cross country. I drove it to Texas during, well, not cross country, but to San Antonio, Texas during COVID. We didn't want to fly, and through all season, I drive that car year round, and the kid's incredible. Yeah. So it just told
even the 30-something-year-old op parts that go on like Mark IIIs are still like fit.
What isn't it? I'm assuming everything's got to go through TUV, right? Is it TUV? Whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, everything's got to be at a high standard. So it definitely, I mean, that kit. Again, the other car sat outside every once in a while, like sun beating on it, and it fits great. So,
Sick.
Oh, hey.
Real
anyways,
quick,
for sale soon. Go ahead.
other cars, status, Mark 1, Mark 2.
Okay, so Mark 1 is going to do some final detailing on it, but that's done. Nick Farrington and Zach came by this past weekend. We photographed it. That was fun. Minor stuff. So I bought some carbon fiber doodads for it, just kind of
From Gargagugagavaba or wherever they are online. That's fucking some
no,
like
the guy.
Dungeons &
Oh,
Dragons
the K.
campaign.
The
Yeah,
yeah,
dude,
yeah,
I know-
yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah.
he-
I know
you knew
exactly
exactly what I was talking
yes,
about.
yeah. K Tech would think it's. I don't know. He
dude.
whatever.
It's a long name.
Yeah.
Begins with a G. Definitely doesn't sound like it does.
So that.
Is there some dots involved?
Dude, just okay, I'm sorry. Keep going.
Yeah.
Sounds like
I
one
know
of Satan's
exactly.
boys.
That's where they came from. And then the Mark II, I'm gonna do some heavy engine stuff.
Okay.
And then I want to do an interior with Nick.
Same engine?
So it's I just got some very rare parts for the engine to dress it. And
Begin with an S.
Is it an intake manifold?
He can't tell you.
Never mind.
I'm getting it. All right. I'm getting
Listen,
it
I
tomorrow.
got a bunch of questions for off the podcast.
Yeah. Well, we can follow up on that.
I
But
got a
the
bunch
only
of
reason,
pricing inquiries.
just because it's weird for us to think that a Schrick intake manifold now is rare. But
Well, it kind of is.
I know. But it like,
do you know how rare it is?
well, now yes,
Do you
but
know?
like,
Do you know remember what it came off of? Like the original design,
no.
the Volkswagen Motorsport one, which is even more rare.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I'm getting.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Blow
So,
it all up.
yeah.
I have to cut this out.
Again, allergic to money. Scratching over here.
If there's a deal to be had.
Itchy. And then I want to do an interior with Nick because he's incredible.
Yep.
And I want to keep it a Porsche OE style thing. So I got I'm going to do Porsche brakes. The interior is going to be, they did a Club Sport edition with like, it almost looks like it's like a velour, but has like almost like Yankee pinstripes. I don't know how else to describe it. Like very thin white pinstriping.
Yep.
And I was able to source the Porsche fabric. So the seats will be done, the Recaros will be done like that. That's my next thing. And I kind of want to just a lot of the car's original paint. It came out pretty good, but I just want to kind of sharpen it up a little bit, clean it up a couple things just to kind of make it really roll fenders, stuff to kind of make it. I mean, I pretty much daily drive that thing.
Right.
I drive.
I know
that
it's
thing
out
a
often,
lot,
so
a
yeah.
lot. It's got ice cold air conditioning, full stereo.
Yep.
It's got crazy sound deadening in it, so it's actually pretty nice. I mean, it's not a tin can like the Mark 1 is, but yeah, I drive that car quite a bit. Yeah.
I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, I'm gonna race you in that R32.
There's a lot of races lined up over here. There's a lot of races.
Corey, you up next?
Yeah, the Civic against the Mark 1.
Actually, there we go. We can make a whole day of this. Brett, thank you very much as always for coming to hang out. Everybody in the chat, if you're still there, we'll be back shortly. Everybody else who listened to this episode, listen to the next one because we're going to do it again shortly. So thank you very much as always. We'll catch you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Peace.
Later.
God damn,